Still, bread's not a problem. Game 1, Ballistix versus Super Perfect Team on Dragonshire. Ballistix will be immediately banning out that Malfurion. A lot of sustain from Malfurion, not only in terms of health, but in terms of mana. The only healer that sustains mana in that way. Can be very difficult to deal with on these aggressive 4-mana rotation maps. We're going to have Vala be the ban out for Super Perfect Team. Just don't want to deal with Ballistix level. Vala. Ballistix has been showing a preference for her all night. False are going to be the pickup for Ballistix. They want the global. Ballistix has actually been... Ballistix has always been... All the Korean teams have always sort of been aggressive in terms of team fighting, when compared to other regions at least. But Ballistix has been the most macro-oriented team we've seen, except for old TNL. And they're really starting to abuse that in their drafts. They're going for a lot of global. Super Perfect Team going to instantly lock that Zeratul. That was a fast lock. Zeratul is exceptional on Dragonshire. He was exceptional on Dragonshire before his recent rework, before his recent buffs, I should say. Now he's even better. He's certainly, I actually agree, he probably is first pick material on this map, especially if the enemy team already has a Falstad. Zeratul is just incredibly strong against Falstad. Falstad survives through his escapes, including Gust and Barrel Roll, and Zeratul can actually negate both of them with Warhol Blade. Just so difficult to deal with. Zeratul, played well, should be able to kill Falstad pretty much 100% of the time, unless Falstad gets saved by his team or is really close to his forts and playing very, very safely. EDC also going to be a pickup Super Team, taking the most contested tank in the pro meta right now away. Ballistix is going to, however, counter by picking up Dahaka, going for the global, and I feel like we're going to see Brightwing here. Brightwing is another hero that Zeratul can often cause a lot of trouble to, but the Tri-Global worked for them the last time they played Dragonshire, and it's going to work for them again here. Ballistix sticking with the same draft. Johanna is going to be the ban out for Super Perfect Team. We're actually seeing a little bit of a recap here. This is the exact same ban that the previous team on Dragonshire used against Ballistix, and it didn't work for them, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not going to work for Super Perfect Team either. Rhaegar is going to be the ban for Ballistix. That does limit the support pool options for SPT. They have the option of picking up Ariel, but they're going to need to pick up probably a Gul'dan with the Ariel in order to make that work. Tychus, however, is going to be the pickup. That is going to be very good against Dahaka, plus whatever tank to hit Ballistix picks up. I'd be very surprised if they ran Dahaka as a solo tank. They're actually going to pick up Kerosene as their support. They do have isolation tools with VP. If they can isolate one person, if they can get like a 3 or 4 man VP and then leave one person out of it, they can get that 7-sided strike. That's going to be a kill pretty much 100% of the time. 7-sided and Tychus also very good against the Dragon Knight. Can lose the Dragon Knight and completely negate the value for the cost of 1 heroic plus a trait cooldown on Tychus. Very, very worthwhile. Ballistix is going to pick up Muradin and Li Ming. That means Dahaka is going to be the solo laner. They'll have Tri-Globals for those gank attempts. They'll have Stormbolt into drag guaranteed with Li Ming's burst as follow-up. And Super Perfect Team going for the cheese. The Wombo combo. VP into Ring of Frost. And that's where you pick the Jaina in that combination. You pick her the last, so the enemy team does not think to pick up Tyrael and deny with the Sank. That is actually very scary. A single good VP should result in multiple kills every time it happens. It should result in multiple kills. So Ballistix is going to play very carefully, stay spread out. If Falstad does not get VP'd, he can Gust Jaina away to deny the follow-up. So they have counterplay. They have tools that will allow them to deny the combo. But Ballistix is going to have to be on the ball the entire game post-10. It's actually a really good question. So the question from chat is, what is the general opinion about first pick versus second pick? For me, second pick is stronger because I can counter much better. It actually, a lot of pros, there was actually a huge issue about this a couple months ago, where a lot of pros were talking about how first pick was always stronger. Bakery was in that camp. Statistically, I think in NA and EU, first pick was stronger. The team that first picked won more often. And in Korea, second pick was actually stronger. Part of that is the way the Korean format worked. It wasn't you had a set order of maps. It was loser picked if they wanted second pick and map choice or first pick. They got to. It was loser picks, right? So whichever one was considered more beneficial, they would take it. And that's the really key point. In some metas, second pick is better. In some metas, first pick is better. And what it comes down to, in a broad sense, is how many overpowered heroes there are, right? So currently we have Malfurion, Ariel, Brightwing are basically the top 3 supports, and you slot in certain supports as off supports depending on the comp. You have Murd and ETC as the top tier tanks, and you have Johanna and Tyrael as kind of the leftovers, and everything else is like a tier below that. You have Vol and Tychus for the range sustain damage. And you have Li Ming. And then you have, sometimes you have Gul'dan for sustained damage as well. You have Li Ming for burst, you have Jaina for burst, you have Kael'thas for burst, depending on the map, depending on circumstances. You have Falstad for burst, because Mage Stat. You have SCSC on Li Ming, Zhongha on Dahaka, Noblesse on Muradin, Swoi on Brightwing, and we're going to switch over to the other side of the map. We have Wings on Zeratul, Aloof Full on Karazin, Misaka on ETC, Liang on Tychus, and Qing Zhao on Jaina. Yeah, but the point is, in a lot of ways it depends on the map and how many heroes are particularly strong on that map, and how many heroes are strong in the meta if first pick or second pick is stronger. That's what it comes down to. The obvious example is if there's one OP hero, second pick is always forced to ban it. Right, that really limits their ban options in the draft. A little bit of a skirmish mid. We are going to see Perfect Storm getting a couple stacks here from Noblesse, just throwing out those Qs. And we're going to see Dahaka actually help clear bottom. Oh, they actually get the pick on the Jaina. They thought that Dahaka was top. He was not. He was hiding in that bush. Poly into drag. Got a hut. We're actually going to see Iron Fist pick up. This is damage Karazin. So slightly limited healing for Super Perfect Team. They really are going for the blow up someone and win. That is their style of fighting this game. And you're going to see Dahaka in the top lane, Falstad and Noblesse pressuring mid aggressively. We're going to see Li Ming and Brightwing in the bot doing the same. Li Ming with Force Armor, as long as she's hitting her skill shots, Brightwing's enough healing to keep her pretty much alive and active in lane. Swoi is actually going to get significantly chunked here, though. Does have tap available, opts to tap rather than back and Z back in. Wants to save his Z for the contest on the Shrines. Noblesse with the rotation down, temporarily making this into a tri-lane. And that is going to be both Shrines captured. Noblesse with the aggressive dive in, beautiful stun, and that's going to be another kill onto Ling Zhao. Jaina, no mobility. Her primary issue, really, as a hero is her lack of mobility and her lack of range. So it's easy to get her caught out by more mobile heroes like Muradin. We're going to see beautiful kill. The polymorph, the jump, the stun, all of those were so perfectly synced up. And level 4 actually, we picked up here 4 Ballistix off the back of those kills. And we are going to see Zhongha. Nope. Blue Fool going in. The Stormbolt actually misses, and he dashes to his own Mystic ally. This is level 4 talent. He does pick up the Earth allies, which means auto attacks are going to be reduced by half when that's around. The outplay, the delay was real. Exceptionally nice play from Aloof Fool. This is currently a 3v4, but we're actually going to see Tychus come in from the top. They did not know who's there. Noblesse in a lot of trouble. We are going to see Dahaka burrow into the fight, come back. We're going to see a beautiful drag that is going to be the kill onto Tychus. Luful is extremely low, but he is going to get out. He has the ally. We're going to see the re-engage. They actually managed to take down Falstad, but he's going to pay for that. Luful is going to go down in exchange for that kill. 2 for 1. It looks like Wings is going to get out of there with the blink over the wall. Killing Falsa there was actually critical. Fly was up, and he could have flown top after that fight and secured the Dragon Knight mid for his team really, really easily. But with him dead, that's not going to be an option. We do see the Haka Zing back into the top lane. Going to clear the wave. Zeratul is there as well. You're going to see a little bit of a skirmish. The SBT Wings just trying to make sure that Soak does not get missed. And again, more Perfect Storm stacks for Noblesse. Nachogen forced to back up a little bit. Did take a little bit of damage there from that grenade. And we're going to see Aloof Fool versus SCSC and Sway again. And again, Noblesse with rotation. Oh, the burrow into the drag. Queen Zhao almost ends up going down there, actually. That was extremely close. Misaka's taking a lot of damage. Does have tap available. Is managing to get out of there just... Oh, nope. SCSC just lands everything instantaneously. Calamity combo finishing that off. The resets are real. Tychus ends up going down off the drag. And these free drags have been just landing over and over and over again. We're going to see Wings come up here and contest. This is going to be a 1v1, but he gets revealed from stealth. Not only that, but Brightwing manages to see, and Wings is 100% dead here. There's no possibility he gets out of this alive. That is another kill. We're seeing full Q build for Jaina, going for the Frostbolts. But this comp just does not work until 10. They built their entire comp around damage, around having a beautiful Wombo combo, but until 10, that Wombo does not exist, and Ballistix abusing their globals to dominate the early game. Level 10 is going to be picked up for Ballistix. That is incredibly early. Blink Heal, Isolation, Gust, Avatar. We're actually going to have Li Ming hold her Heroic until ETC picks up his. Not too surprising. That is something that happens quite a bit. See the... Ballistix putting an emphasis on actually getting structure damage here, but getting it, a particular emphasis on getting the walls and the wells. Once all the wells are done in your outer lanes, it becomes much more difficult to contest. It becomes more difficult to contest mid cap for the Dragonet. It becomes more difficult to test the top altars, the top and bottom altars, because you don't have that tap. You can't immediately get chunked, back up, tap, and re-engage in a close fight. You're forced to back all the way up to your well on your inner base or hearth back, which gives more time to make things happen. Noblesse is actually going to get significantly chunkier. He does have jump out. He does get it. Gus is not there in time for the save. They do get the kill on Tychus. As CSC misses his combo on the reset. Wings with a nice juke, but looks like they're going to be able to secure that kill. We're going to see Wave of Force locked in to make sure that does go down. And we're going to see a rotation. Palm actually comes down to deny, but oh no. Power slide in and immediately gets polyed. The combo is available. SPT does pick up 10. We are going to see Palm picked up, as we saw there. Ring of Frost, Dragon Real Stage Dive, and BP. SPT can try and paint the map red, grab their camps. They're looking for the group, though. They want Ballistix to group up again and make something happen with that combo. You can see Noblesse again playing more. He's checking the siege camp, making sure that nothing is going on there. They don't want to let that go for free since they have dominance on the map right now. You can see Ballistix is grabbing their own bruiser camp, going to get that pushed in. And that's just an incredible amount of lane pressure in the top lane. That's double bruiser camp pushing the top lane. Even though they're not synced up, they're not together. It's going to do quite a lot of work. And Ballistix actually pretty close to getting 13. Super Perfect Team needs to consider if they want to try and force a fight before 13 is picked up, but odds are Ballistix would not let them do that. They would just back up and wait, especially considering they have the better globals, they have the better lane pressure. There's nothing Super Perfect Team can do really to force a fight. They're going to try and get the rotation here onto Zhangma. The power slide is going to be real, but nope, the isolation comes down. The displacement denies the Brush Stalker, and Zhangha is 100% going to go down here. Brightwing actually almost came in for the save. I'm pretty sure if they had let that go on for 1 second longer, Brightwing would have come in there, and then they would have gotten 2 free kills instead of 1. Nacho Jim with Gus going to save this point for as long as he possibly can. They're going to have to rotate mid, and they are going to get it. We actually are seeing Ring of Frost thrown out just for the save, and SCSC lives with no health whatsoever. No. No. Mikasa's like, no. That's not going to be allowed to happen. Does manage to secure that kill. Jaina gets out, so it ends up being 2 kills for none, but they give up a Dragon Knight. At this point in the game, that's probably the best Super Perfect team could hope for, considering they are behind in experience. They really needed that comeback mechanic experience. Which I still think Blizzard should make a modifier of 6.5. You get 6.4, 5 times more experience when you're down levels. You're going to see the DP come down. Ring of Frost is not available, so this is purely in isolation. They're trying to get the kill onto Nachogen. They actually are doing a lot of damage, but he barely managed to get out of there. Beautiful gust into the corner. That's going to be a lot of potential reset from Li Ming. Nachogen, however, is extremely low. They do end up picking up the EDC. Palm actually does land onto Aloof Fool. Not going to let that happen. But the stun, Wings barely gets out of there. It was incredibly close, but in the end, that does go in the favor of Ballistix. That Palm was unreal. Oh, we get to see it again. This is very exciting. Beautiful gust in the corner. We see EDC power slide aggressively and trying to get the peel. It does get interrupted, and he gets dragged out. Immediately gets deaded. And then Aloof Fool almost gets deaded as well, but there's no CC left to interrupt him casting, so he does manage to palm himself. We're going to see Ring come down. Does actually hit Brightwing. Brightwing is forced to Ice Block to deny the follow-up damage, but Ice Block is another way of saying, oh yeah, we know exactly where you're going to be in like 2 seconds. Let's just drop everything right on top of you. Gust for the disengage. They do get the pick on Tychus, so this is a 2-for-1, but SP is, I mean, that's a good trade for SBT, but Ballistix does pick up 16 off the back of it, and SCSC is not to be underestimated with his aggression, gets instantly erased from being slightly too aggressive. Does have dominance. If he could have secured those kills, he probably would have been fine, but he didn't quite manage to do that. And, punished. Punished for being overly aggressive. Meanwhile, Ballistix just gonna, steal the siege camp. Why not? I know Bless with the zoning does get the dismount on everyone. Super Perfect team trying to make sure that they keep at least one altar while they continue to soak. They do have stage dive available. They have their wombo combo available. They'd be perfectly happy to take a team fight momentarily. They just want Ballistix to take a rain check. Just like hang back. We'll be right with you. Just like give us 30 seconds, a minute max, and they'll be happy to engage in whatever shenanigans you want to engage in. They're actually gonna rotate down, grab the Bruiser camp as well. They are off the map. Nachogen has to play carefully. They don't. For all he knows, they are sitting in that bush. And as soon as the Bruiser camp gets taken, he's going to know they're not. And we're going to see Misaka again get stunned out. We're going to see the Ring come down. Ring without the VP is not very likely to land, and we see it's not. We're going to see a beautiful pickoff onto Falstad, however, in the back there with the damage from Laser. Noblesse is getting extremely low. He actually has to do... Nope. Not enough, and that actually ends up being a clean 4-0 for Super Perfect team, despite the fact that they didn't even get the wombo combo. They used their heroics all willy-nilly, separated out from each other, and it ended up working out regardless. Get an instant replay on the map. We just see the Ring hits basically hits the minion wave, but they do manage to trunk Falstad. He just get out stage dive for the re-engage. We see VP hits absolutely nothing, gets instantly canceled. They do get the kill onto Noblesse, and that fight was just ugly. There's no other word for it. That fight was just ugly for Ballistix. Not up to their usual caliber at all. Pretty much every heroic missed, and they still somehow managed to lose it. But credit to SPT for focusing fire on the Murd and focusing fire on the Falstad, making sure those picks happen. The root onto Nitrogen almost resulting in that kill. That is the level 16 talent and work for Jaina. Where she uses her Cone of Cold on a already chill target. It does root them for 1 second. She gives them even more potential lockdown, which is something their comp was slightly lacking. Dragon Knight used up. That does take a lot of pressure off of SPT. SPT now in the experience lead. Ballistix is the one that's going to feel pressured to make something happen before level 20. And again, the Wombo is available. VP into ring. Ballistix is going to need to stay spread out, be careful. They've actually been really good about it all game, which is why the VPs have not been getting so much value and the rings have just been thrown out on their own. We're actually seeing the W build out of Zeratul here. Seeker in the Dark, giving him another displacement / teleport ability to react to that W, and Sentence to Death, giving him 50% increased damage when a target is affected by Singularity Spike. Is picked up for Super Perfect Team. No objectives up on the map, so it's really hard. It's going to be really hard to force Ballistix. Oh, the beautiful stun. And actually ring thrown out just to secure the kill. That was actually not necessary, but it does. It does end up going on. SCSC tries his best to get away, but frozen to the ground, ends up going down. That is 2 picks for Super Perfect Team at a critical time in the game. Ballistix will be able to soak 20, but they're going to lose Forts free in the mid lane, and they could potentially lose the top fort as well. They're going to have to give up the Dragon Knight here. Stage Dive is going to be enough of a global to make sure that none of the fights at any of the objective points are going to be even. However, Jaina did pick up Icy Veins at 13. That was popped during that fight as well. So, Ring of Frost will actually be back up pretty much momentarily. 20 seconds. We're going to be alive in 2. That's going to be a downtime of 18 seconds before you can potentially have another 5v5. And then after that, they got the pick on Li Ming. So Ring of Frost will basically be up in time for any potential team fights. That is the benefit of Icy Veins. It does apply to all cooldowns. And Super Perfect Team did manage to secure the Dragon Knight off the tempo advantage, and the middle fort off of the tempo advantage that using that heroic gun gave him. We're going to see the press in here. They're just going to focus on the keep wall Gus. Not really getting too much value then. They're going for the... Oh, the palm. They barely managed to get on top of the Jaina and actually force the palm out. That Gus actually ended up doing quite a lot. Jungha is going to be able to get out of here, but just barely. Storm Shield is forced out by Swat. Jaina gets picked off over the wall by a CSC. The Li Ming combo coming into play. Laser going to come down, forcing the disengage. Where CSC continue to be so incredibly aggressive. Noblesse as well. But that's another kill. Avatar was available and was not popped. The stun was on point, getting him just as he was low. The dig in by Dahaka is not in time to save the Li Ming, and Jungha's going to be forced away. He does get the drag off, but there's no follow-up damage. That is going to be a free kill. 3 for 1 is a good trade any day of the week. And VP actually isolating both Soy and Nitrogen. Unfortunately, Super Perfect Team could not get there in time for the follow-up. You're going to see Super Perfect Team make the decision to grab the Siege Camp and continue to pressure in the bottom lane. They want to secure at least a keep off of those 3 kills. It opens up a win condition for them. They don't feel like they can end. Gust is available too, so Nitrogen may actually be able to save this keep depending on the timing. I think the safe decision is to give it up, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. They're just going to poke, try and get as much free damage onto the back line as possible so that Siege doesn't do too much work. And we're going to see Gust come in. Nitrogen, however, is going to get Vorpaled too. He does manage to get out of there. And that's going to be a beautiful palm onto Wings, who did get so much damage put on him. And the root from Jaina doing so much work there, securing kills, securing peel. Jahong actually gets the isolation, but misses the drag on an isolated target. Couldn't even see him. They end up trading 1-for-1. Zeratul for Falstad. Noblesse taking so much damage. Healing Static, barely enough to keep him alive. SCSC in the back, trying so incredibly hard. 2 for 3 right now. Murden and Dahaka trying to carry this fight. If I were going to have 2 tanks on a fight that were trying to solo in a 3v2, it would be Murden and Dahaka. They have so much sustain. The Stormbolt misses. That's so critical, but the drag does not. They get the displacement that does cancel the drag. They're going to get the kill onto Jaina that ends up being a 4 for 3. Gianga trying to get away. No, he does get displaced. Brushstalker will not be available for a little bit. He does not have any essence left. He does end up going down. That's a 5 for 3. And Super Perfect Team picks up the ace. Crowd Surfer to secure that shrine just a tiny little bit faster. Looks like they are going to put carries even inside the Dragonite. This means they will not have a support for the push. Nope, they're waiting. But they shouldn't have. Nitrogen will actually manage to secure a bot with the fly. Does not wait around though. He gets just enough of it to get rid of the point and then leaves. Harse out, does not want to take the risk. That unfortunately is not going to be enough of a delay, and Wings is going to secure the Dragon Knight. Patience here from Super Perfect Team, waiting with the dragon. I don't know what they think they're hiding though, because the Dragon Knight is visible on the minimap. Like you don't hide the Dragon Knight. You kind of got to assume that if the entire team's alive and pushing his 5, they're probably with the Dragon Knight. Looks like they were just waiting for their wave to push up. They're going to carefully push the wave, clear the wave, get the kick. They're looking for that isolation, something they've been looking for all game long. Looking for that one big VP. Jongha going to thread his drag, does miss. Noblesse dives in very aggressively here. He does have Avatar available. He's trying to bait a lot of damage onto himself. The Gust comes out, forcing them back. Noblesse is still in good shape. This trait will kick in here momentarily as long as he can avoid taking damage. We see Jongha trying to go for the back line. Decides that they're not quite close enough to the bush and leaves. SB Wings does take a significant amount of damage in the Dragonite. They're not going to get any value out of this Dragonite in point of fact. We're going to see a stage dive in, but the ice block on Brightwing just sets him up for the perfect ring, and that's going to be a free kill onto him, and as a result, Falstad ends up going down as well. Jongha is extremely low. VP for the isolation. They get the kill onto the Haka, and that's going to be Noblesse and SCSC. Li Ming is one of the heroes that can potentially defend a core in this sort of situation if she can get all those kills, but nope. Palm, not even necessary, but does come down. That is an ace. Super Perfect Team 1-0 over the world champions, Ballistix.